Few subjects are as dramatic as are the landmarks in medical practice and discovery. These milestones provide famous artists with unique opportunities to document medicine's turning points. This presentation will display selected works of art that illustrate major events in medical history. Throughout history, infections have caused deaths on a catastrophic scale. Because the origins of these plagues were unknown, near panic would run through a population being more than decimated by infection. Here, Peter Bruegel the Elder, earliest of the Surrealists, portrays the grisly chaos that would run through a population beset by plague. In Europe in the 14th century, plague caused 25 to 30 million deaths, fully one-third the population. We might contrast these numbers to the 1.1 million deaths the U.S. experienced from COVID and the 700,000 HIV deaths in the U.S. In the picture of the Great Plague, Greer, a contemporary artist, illustrates the desperation of London in the 1600s, where 400,000 died. Note the costume of the plague doctor, who wears a long pointed mask, which contained aromatics to dispel the odors of death, and also the miasma that was thought to cause the plague. Note also he wears a waxed coat to prevent contamination from contact with the plague victims. Caravaggio, the creator of this painting, was such a troublemaker that most of what is known of him comes from criminal records. Nevertheless, he is considered a singular master of the post-Renaissance Baroque period. He is known for portraying his subject realistically and spotlighted against a dark black background. What has made young Bacchus sick? He is showing jaundice from malaria. Malaria, one of history's most deadly infections. The historic death toll from malaria, 1 billion, 20 to 30 million in just the last 10 years, 650,000 in 2020 alone. In this portrait, Rembrandt provides an unflinching revelation of his fellow artist's disease. Observe the syphilis sores around Gerard's mouth. Gerard went blind shortly after this was painted and was dead within a year. Jenner is shown here vaccinating young James Phipps with cowpox, which conveyed immunity to smallpox. Jenner later challenged the immunization by inoculating James twice again with material from actual smallpox lesions. Jenner, as a boy, had himself been inoculated following the introduction of inoculation to Britain by Lady Wortley Montagu in 1721. Early anti-vaxxers funded this illustration by the innovative printmaker James Gilray. Here, the recipients of the vaccine need purging and grow bizarre cow-like appendages. One of history's deadliest infections, smallpox throughout its history caused 500 million deaths and all but eliminated some native populations. Smallpox immunization has been the most successful in history, and smallpox remains the only naturally occurring disease that has been completely eradicated. Already a specialist in the administration of anesthesia, John Snow plotted the incidence of cholera in London on a map, later described as the ghost map. Cases were focused on the Broad Street water pump, indicting its water as the source of the epidemic. So convincing was Snow's presentation to the parish Board of Guardians that they removed the handle of the pump the very next day. A contributor to the advancement of germ theory, Snow is sometimes referred to as the father of epidemiology. Pasteur, known as the father of bacteriology, produced accomplishments that seemed too numerous to be the work of just one man. He developed vaccines for rabies, anthrax, fowl cholera, and smallpox. He invented the process now called pasteurization, which kills microbes, and prevented spoilage in milk, beer, and other goods. Pasteur was the discoverer of microorganisms that caused fermentation, and he popularized the germ theory of disease, fostering the hope that other vaccines could be developed and prevent infectious diseases. A man laid on the operating table in one of our surgical hospitals is more exposed to the chances of death than an English soldier on the field at Waterloo. So reads an 1860 quotation that summarizes the shocking state of post-operative infections at that time. Joseph Lister, now known as the father of modern aseptic surgery, applied the knowledge gained by Pasteur to create a more germ-free surgical environment. He is shown here using a carbolic acid generator to spray and sanitize the surgical field. This painting shows Alexander Fleming, the discoverer of penicillin. He's seated at his workbench and at the window through which wild penicillin mold blew in and landed on his media dish. Though discovered in 1928, penicillin did not come into widespread use until the beginning of the Second World War, and even then it was scarce. The antibiotic's low bioavailability at times allowed the distillation of penicillin from a patient's urine, leading to the claim of some hospital GIs with urine collection bags and IVs, quote, "All I did is switch the bags." This concludes the infections section of Medical Landmarks as portrayed in classic art. As a final takeaway, here is a chart prepared by ChatGPT showing the top 10 deadliest infections throughout history, together with some key aspects of each of the diseases. I hope this is of interest to you. Thanks for watching.